All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest, and it was confirmed today that Tanuvasa is going to be transferring out, as well as the fact that we're going to be losing Junior Tafuna now that he's out of eligibility. So it leaves our defensive interior D tackle room up for grabs for the best performers. And so what we're going to talk about today is who are the guys that could fill these roles? Who are the most likely guys to take these spots? I'm excited to dive into it, guys. Before we do so, make sure you smash that like button. It's going to help get the video out to more Utah fans. Also, comment down below. What do you guys think? Who do you think the future starters are? I'd appreciate it if you really watch the video. I notice, what happens a lot of the time is I'll look at the comments and someone will like say that I said something or like say a point against what I'm talking about that I make later in the video. So make sure you watch the full thing so you really understand and then tell me who you think the starters should be. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell because we're putting out a ton of content. So if you don't have the notification bell on, you're probably missing some videos. So make sure you do that. And on that note, let's go ahead and dive in and look at the 2025 defensive tackle situation. Okay, guys, and what we're looking at here is every defensive interior D tackle player that played at least 50 pass rush snaps. And I've got it sorted by pass rush win rate, so win percentage on pass rushes. And you can see here that Keanu Tanuvasa and Samodi Peppa, who are both gone now, were clearly the outliers at the bottom of this list. Samodi Peppa just, god awful, 0% win rate, terrible. Uh, I mean, I like Samodi Peppa. I was surprised it was that bad, but it is. Keanu Tanavasa also 3.5%. That's one of the lowest on the list. I think if you didn't have Samodi Peppa in here, he would be like the clear lowest, like not even close to the other guys. And like I mentioned, Junior Tafuna is out of here. He won't be a player for Utah anymore. But clearly had an awesome year, right? He really had a great year, and I thought he was super impressive this year. But you look, guys, we're gonna get Aliki Vamahi and we're gonna get Dallas Fakalahi this year. And Dallas Fakalahi was a true freshman. And I think these pass rush grades are very the pass rush win percentage is very impressive, right? I would also say it's on a low sample size for both of these guys, right? Dallas got a decent sample size, 123 pass rush snaps, right? And he did it at 5.3%. So I think you can be very happy with that. But you look at Aliki, his number is only on 72. So it's, close to half of what Dallas Fakalahi had. The good thing for us is that was because of a bad injury where he goes out game one for Utah and then doesn't come back to see the field until much later in the season. So he is a good player and he is proven to be a good player. We'll even go back a year so we could take a good look at him. He is, been a good player for Utah for a while now, kind of a rotational guy that has really made his mark. But just as this loads, I think it's clear that these are going to be the two guys. While that's loading, why don't we go ahead and move over to the run defense grades? Let me pull that up. So looking at the run defense grades, like I mentioned, guys, we're not going to have Keanu Tanavasa or Junior Tafuna. So they had pretty good stop percentages here, right? 8.1% and 7.7%. Those are, good. Those are good players, and they both had, like, when it came to run defense, Keanu Tanavasa did pretty well last year. Stop percentage of 7.7. That's very good. And then Junior Tafuna, 8.1. That's really, really good. But you look here, guys, on 60 run defense snaps, not a huge sample size, right? It's a little less than half of what Keanu Tanavasa did. He was able to do 8.6%, Aliki Vamahi was, and that's really impressive. He was clearly in his sample size, he was by far the best. I guess Junior Tafuna is close, but outside of that, by far the best at getting stops. And if you guys aren't familiar with what stops are, they're neutral or negative plays for the offense. So that basically means he's getting like a tackle at the line for no gain, or a tackle for a loss, something like that. It's a very important number. Dallas Vakalahi's a little lower here, right? Not terrible, 6.4%, but not where you'd want it to be, right? It's a little lower than where you'd want it to be. But again, true freshman season where he was significantly higher than a uh, solid number. And again, true freshman guys. So I think it's worth just noting. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull up the pass rush win rate for or we'll just stay on the run defense grade, but run defense grade 6.4% here. So you can see what we're getting, guys, is two proven guys, Aliki Vamahi, elite against the run, right? 8.6% stop percentage. And then you got Dallas Vakalahi, 6.4%. It's a good look and it's a good start. Those two to me are the two guys that I think are the clear standouts to take the starting positions. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take a look at some of the other options we could possibly have if these guys do struggle. On top of that, we're probably going to want to rotate in a decent amount of guys. So let's take a look at that next. Okay, guys, and we're taking a look at the transfer portal class here. So this is our 2025 transfer portal class. We definitely got some big pickups. But when I was mentioning some other options we have, I want to show you what we brought in at edge rusher. Lance Holtzclaw, really good third down pass rusher with that full every down edge rusher upside. But I think he's definitely going to get in there and be a presence at edge rusher at minimum on third down and as a pass rusher. And then Jackson Jones, this guy, the film, guys, if you haven't watched the breakdown I did on Jackson Jones when we picked him up, sometimes I enjoy the tape. Sometimes I like the tape, and sometimes I like it a lot. And other times you see a guy on the field that is just a dominant monster. And that's what Jackson Jones was. It was very impressive. He was huge and extremely athletic. Check that video out when you're done with this one if you get a second. But I'm getting off track. Anyways, got off topic. But we have those two guys coming into the edge rusher room. And the reason I bring that up is we are losing a couple good edge rushers due to not having any eligibility left, right? In Van Fillinger and Connor O'Toole, right? So we're losing a couple good guys that were edge rushers, but those two guys kind of come in and help out there. And then we'll have Logan Fano, right? Who's coming back. And I expect him to heal up a lot from the injury, look a little better than he did last year. So I think we'll see some mix of these three guys, and then we'll have a bunch of other guys in that room like Paul Fitzgerald, John Henry Daly that can fight for those spots, as well as some other freshmen coming in. And then speaking of freshmen, we can scroll up a little here. We actually have a decent amount of defensive linemen coming into this class. You look here, guys, a bunch of young freshmen that could steal some reps and get in there, right? A lot of good, at least, backup options, right? Where you could rotate these guys in a little bit and still not burn their red shirt. I think that's a fun idea and definitely a real possibility. But the reason I bring all this up is we have a lot of talent at edge rusher and some young talent at D line. But more than that, the talent at edge rusher, guys, it gives us a loaded room. And Utah, it would not be incredibly uncommon for Utah to go ahead and load up that, get an edge rusher, beef him up, and then put him at that defensive interior position. Just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about here, we've got some big boys at defensive end, at edge rusher. John Henry Daly's 251, right? Vili Tauafua is 252. Paul Fitzgerald, 253. I mean, these are some big boys here. Even Logan Fano's 250. I think Logan Fano has shown he's a presence on the edge, so I wouldn't move him in. But we got a few guys there that I wouldn't be shocked to see Utah maybe beef one of them up and move them inside. Now, you look at on the screen, though, we have a bunch of young guys that can really make things happen. I mean, a bunch of big young guys. Look at these. And this guy's from Bishop Gorman. I actually interviewed Sione Motua Puaka on the channel. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong. He was telling me, you ever, someone's telling you how to say their name and you say it and then they say, no, it's like this, right? It's like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Go back and watch the Sione Motua Puaka interview because he goes like, I say, is it pronounced Motua Pawaka? And he was like, no, it's pronounced Motua Pawaka, something like that, right? To me, to my ears, he repeated exactly what I just said. I'm sure everyone's been in that situation, but it was, I remember just thinking, oh, okay. Anyways, guys, I'm going to give you my final thoughts in a second here on the D tackle room. So let's go ahead and talk final thoughts. Okay, guys. So here's where I'm at mentally. So final thoughts. Oh, before I give my final thoughts, please make sure you guys smash that like button. That's going to help give the video out to more Utah fans. Uh, Also, comment down below. Now that you've done the full spectrum here of who we have on the team, I want to know your thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking. I know there's a lot of options here, a lot of guys we could go with. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, guys, we put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. And if you haven't hit that notification bell, make sure you do, because the content, I don't want to like commit to a number. I know what my number is in my head. And if you go to the every day over the past week or so, you'll see that I put out a certain number of videos every day on average, because I do have a number, but I don't want to say it and like commit to it. So if I don't do it, but I am putting out a ton of content. So make sure you turn on the notification bell. But now let's talk about final thoughts here, guys. We're losing one really good player in Junior Tafuna now that he's out of eligibility. And we're losing a good player in Tanuvasa that was trending like he might be able to get to that next level and be a really big impact player. But we got two really good guys as well. Dallas Vakalahi's still young, but he flashed last year big time. Not a ton of reps, but a good amount. I mean, he was clearly the third guy. And Aliki Vamahi's injury gave him the opportunity to get in there and get a lot of reps and show what he could do. And I remember watching Dallas Vakalahi's tape. I remember everyone kept commenting, hey, review this guy's tape, review this guy's tape. And it was very, very impressive, and not surprised to see him doing so well out there on the field. Aliki Vamahi, too, clearly the best run defender last year, right? With that stop percentage, just crazy number. But he also, he did have the injury. So he didn't have a ton of sample size last year to show that he could do it over a big amount of time. The good news for us is the injury happened at the beginning of the year and he played the last 3 games. So we should get a really healthy Aliki Vamahi heading into 2025. Okay. So that's a really good 2-punch combo. All right. And we got a bunch of young guys behind them that could be developing. We just haven't seen a ton from them yet. We don't know. We don't know. But Utah loads up this position and does a great job. Right? Year in and year out, we get it done. I really like this combo, Aliki Vamahi and Dallas Vakalahi. Real deadly 2-punch there, right? And 2 big, thick guys that make plays in the middle of that defense. I would say I'd be really comfortable, like more comfortable, if we were to push one of the edge rushers that, their choice, whoever they feel good about, inside, beef them up, right? I don't know if any of the guys are quite beefy enough to make the move. But if we did have a guy that we could push inside and help with the rotation, right? Just keep those guys fresh. Or if there's a guy in the portal that we could bring in and kind of just rotate in a 3-headed monster type of deal. Or if there's one of these freshmen or 2 of these freshmen that they feel really good about that nobody knows about, right? Like Dallas Vakalahi, like until you saw him hit the field, you don't know what he's going to look like. The coaches know, though, because they see these guys practice every day. So I hope there is at least a third option to help out there, because I do think you're putting a lot of pressure on a guy coming off a really big injury in Vamahi, and then you're putting a lot of pressure on a guy that's got 1 year of, what was it, like 200 total reps in Vakalahi. And I think they're both really good, but I would like to see a third option get in there and work into the rotation a little. Just, and that way if there is an injury, I think that's something that's coming to my mind is, it's a room very susceptible to injury right now because of the lack of proven depth, right? And so I would like to see us do that. I'm excited to see what the coaching staff does there. I think there's a very high chance we bring in a third defensive interior player in the transfer portal, not to take either one of those guys' jobs, because I think we got a really good 2-punch combo, but bring in a third guy to just, help out, rotate in, and be a part of that room. I mean, we're going to let them all eat, right? It's the fresher we can keep them. And, even better if we could bring in a transfer guy, And then maybe one of these guys behind them on the roster is looking good and can rotate in there too and keep all these guys fresh. Because this edge room, we're going to need a group of players. Maybe that's Paul Fitzgerald, right? And maybe that's John Henry Daly. Who knows? And they'll rotate in with Logan Fano and Lance Holtzclaw, Jackson Jones. I'm excited to see what happens there. I think we got a good D-line room. Edge rushers, defensive interior. I'm excited, guys. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. Smash that like button. That's going to help get the video out to more Utah fans. Also, comment down below. What do you guys think? Who do you think the best replacements are for the defensive interior? Do you feel good about the room we have right now? Do you feel like we need to bring in more? Do you feel like you feel okay about the room we have right now? You feel great about it? I want to know what you're thinking. Smash the subscribe button so you know when the content comes out. Hit the notification bell. We're putting out tons of videos, and I want to make sure you guys get alerts when we put them out. I'm out of here, guys. Go Utes.